Okay, so I had an in-ground pet fence put in, and the person that put it in ran across my sprinkler line right here and just nicked it enough where it was starting to bleed out. So I was getting kind of a nice little swamp going in my yard until one of my kids noticed it was happening. So gotta get it fixed. The process is pretty easy. So first you have to identify where your hole is, which we already did. Go ahead and just cut yourself out a piece of the sod, and then you just gotta carefully start excavating around the pipe. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so here's all the tools and supplies you're gonna need for this project. First off, you're gonna wanna get, I got a poly pipe cutting pliers here. You can probably get away with using a hacksaw or probably a really sharp utility knife if you're careful. But this is the easiest. It's gonna give you a straight, simple cut, and I got it from like Harbor Freight for like $8 or something. But it's a blade, and it's a ratcheting kind of pliers set that slowly clamps down and cuts the poly pipe, which is pretty awesome. You want a paint marker so you can cut on a line, and tape measure. As far as supplies go, so here's a 3/4 inch poly pipe. This is the 1 inch poly pipe that we're going to be using, made out of ABS. You're going to want to use 2 unions or couplers. Now in this particular case, my home improvement store only had 1 inch couplers that had T fittings with 1/2 inch, so I just bought caps. A side note, anytime you're using any of the threads on poly or ABS piping, rather than using Teflon tape, I found using pipe dope or thread sealant. Liquid thread sealant is probably the easiest. And these are really cool fittings. If you're familiar with like push lock fittings, they've now made these for irrigation, and they're just the same as probably the big brand you're familiar with called Shark Bite. It just pops onto the end of the pipe, and these little teeth in here hold it tight, latch in, and it creates a nice seal. If you screw up, you of course want to have the little tool that is used to release the coupler. So I picked those up, and of course they charge an exorbitant amount. I think it was like $5 for these 2 little plastic pieces of garbage. But anyways, these are your supplies. Let's make the cut and get to work. Okay, I have excavated around the sprinkler pipe. As you can see, there's my invisible fence, or I should say in-ground pet fence. It's not that brand. Here's the irrigation line. You can see literally right over the top of it. So the fix is really easy. You go to your home improvement store, figure out what size line you're working with. This appears to be some 1 inch ABS poly in-ground piping for irrigation systems. It's not PEX. Don't let somebody confuse you. You're looking for irrigation poly. They should know what that is. Either 3/4 inch or 1 inch ID. This appears to be 1 inch ID. What you're going to do is you're going to cut back about 3-4 inches from where the puncture is or the damage is on either side of it, and then you'll splice in a patch. I'll show you how to do that here. Alright, what you're first going to do before you make your marks, you're going to want to kind of clean off the pipe a little bit, make sure that it's clean and dry so you can make your mark on it. Okay, take your tape measure and your paint pen. Like I said, you want to go back about 3 inches from where the damage has occurred. Now you take your pipe cutting pliers, bring it around, and you just slowly start ratcheting it down. Make a cut. And as Chris Fix would say, out with the old, in with the new. So this is probably an important part of it, is that if you just cut the same amount of pipe that you took out, it's going to be short. So what you actually got to do, well, and first off, check and make sure that your pipe's the same, which in this case it is. It's a 1-inch pipe. Now you're going to want to find out, and this is why I bought this here, is that I need to find out how much and how deep it goes into the actual coupler. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the coupler on there and make a quick mark. Now I'm going to take it off. So you'll see that it went into the pipe about an inch, went about 1.25 inches into the pipe. Okay, so because I'm not a really good math guy, this goes in about 1.25 inches. So I'm gonna put this in here. I'm gonna make a mark right where the end of the pipe is. Take this back off. Go back about 1.25 inches, which is about right here. So now we got 2 fittings here. I'm gonna turn these couplers. I don't think I'll ever put a sprinkler head because the sprinkler head's right over here. I don't think I'm gonna ever put these up to add a riser to put a sprinkler head in here. But you never know, maybe. So I'm gonna keep these turned to the side for now. But I'll know, at least until as long as I live here, that there'll be one of these here. So pick up your mess a little bit and we'll flip on the sprinkler zone and see if we have any leaks. Okay, so we got it repaired. Got the 2 fittings on. Everything's sealed up. Sprinkler line's good to go. Okay, got the piece of sod back in place, set it in. Time to put the sprinklers on and start watering it. You want to keep an eye on this and make sure it gets a little extra attention. Probably the next month or so. But yeah, for now, this one's fixed. Have a good day.